It's 12:30. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat and throughout the program when I am done a particular section. I will look at the chat, see if there's any questions, answer any questions. If I say hold on to your question, I'll answer it in a little bit. That's because it doesn't pertain to the section that I'm on and it's better suited for another section within the program. So I just like to caveat that at the beginning. All right. So the first thing that you're gonna do is I have Realscout saved to my bookmarks. Of course, Realscout has an app, just like there's an app for everything. So there is two different apps. So there's an agent portal app and a client portal app. So for the agent app, it's going to be a black background with a white house. It's also going to have a pro banner with a blue background and white writing on the left top corner of the icon. If you download the app that has a white background and a black house, and it says Realscout dashboard, I think is what it says, that is the consumer or the client app. So you need to go back to your store and download the agent portal app unless you have yourself set up as a client. So I'm on the login screen. So you have two options. You can either log in as the agent or log in as a client. I have my username and password saved, or you can attach it to your Google email if you want, and it'll just always remember you. So I just have my email and my password saved, and I'm going to click sign in. When you sign in to the dashboard, hi Nikki, it's going to look a little intimidating at first, but we're going to break it down. Over on the left, you have your navigation panel. So you have where you can change your photo under my profile. So you can update your photo. You can make sure your phone number's correct, your license number's correct. If you have more than one MLS, you can add that as well. Under settings, you can turn on to have any listen that is sent to clients that it automatically sends it to you. You can have that enabled to suppress natural language, display text messages, and other different settings that you can peruse. I'm not going to spend too much time on the settings or the notification settings. You can scroll through those and toggle the ones that you want to have on and off. There is a weekly summary that you can be sent about your clients if you want. I currently have that off. And then if you do want to receive text notifications, it does have you put in your phone number and send a text to your phone number for you to verify. Once you do that, it is going to have this little green checkbox that says your phone number blank, blank, blank is verified for text notifications. So that's a little bit about the settings, the profile. The dashboard, we will go more in depth in this a little bit, your contacts. So if you need to edit a contact, so let's say you need to delete Ashley because she's no longer a client of yours, or she's purchased a property and she doesn't want to get any more lead alerts, you can go all the way over to the right on the three little dots and click delete. And now it's going to delete that contact. Now, if you needed to edit a contact, I will show you how to do that as well while we're in the contact section. So let's say Miss Karen wanted to update her price for her lists and alerts, or they wanted to update their market activity alert. You would click on the alert that they want to update. So under the actions tab, so all three alerts have an actions tab over on the right. So you would click edit. For the home search, it's going to ask you, do you want to edit filters, settings, and save? So we're going to click edit filters, and then it's going to bring you to the search criteria where you can edit any filter. So if you were filtering the list price, you would filter the list price and then click save. Once you click save, it's going to bring up any new listings. So your any new listings for the updated search. So if you increase price, decrease price, change locations, add a town or add a couple of towns or add a school district or add a certain amenity, if there's any new matches that match the updated criteria, it'll have a box that says, here are some new listings. Do you want to send or do you not want to send those new listings that were matched to the updated criteria? If you click do not send now, it's going to bring you to, so this didn't result in any changes. Sometimes when you update it, you won't get any new listings. Sometimes you will. It will notify you just like this box right here if there are no new matches. So you can just click OK. If there are any new matches, they will show up in the queue. If you do not click the send now button, it'll show up in the queue. And then you can go through, insert, and look at the properties and then send them manually to your client. If you click send now, it's going to send any new matches to your client. And then instead of being in the queue, any of the new properties with that updated criteria will be in the sent folder. So that is how you can update the search criteria. Keep in mind, once you edit the filters, right, the fields for the search, make sure you click save. If you do not click save, it's not going to save your changes and you're not going to get any potentially new matches for that updated search. So that is how you can update a search for a contact or a market alert or a home value alert. So you would just click on the client name and then you would click over here and you would go to the actions and then you can edit, you could delete. So if they didn't want to get listen alerts anymore, but they wanted to get market activity alerts or home value alerts, you could click delete. And then you could just simply click add market activity alert or add home value alert right from the screen. There is another way that you could do that, and I will get to that in a minute. Now, the search bar. So if you type in search, it's going to type it, or it's going to bring you to the criteria fields where you can search for properties. You can look for a client, you can look for a listing, you can look for a contact. So there's different ways that you can search within the Realscout platform. The further down we go, the navigation panel, auto nurture. Realscout enabled this, I want to say 2 years ago now. So I have this enabled for all of my clients. So you can have this disabled or you can have it apply to only those contacts that you tag as auto nurture contacts. I have it enabled for all of my clients and I love this. The reason why I love it is because you stay top of mind. And it will also cater to not only the search that you set up, but if your clients stray a little bit from, say, the 3-bed, 2-bathroom search criteria that you had set up to say, and they start looking at 3-bed, 1-bath properties, the auto nurture feature is also going to recognize, hey, they've veered a little bit from their search criteria that is in their search. It'll start to send them properties of what they're looking at as well as what they're searched. So it sends them relevant listings. So that's basically the nitty-gritty of the auto nurture feature. I love it. I have it enabled for all of my clients. So anytime I add a new contact or a new search alert for them, it automatically puts them into the auto nurture without me having to do anything. So if you want to change the status, you just come over here to the right-hand side, click update settings, and then you can toggle it on or off. And then you can toggle only apply to auto nurture that are tagged contacts or apply to all new contacts. Integrations, you can integrate with Zillow, Flows, Follow Up Boss, Spaceo, Realtor.com, Zapier, Facebook, and WeChat. Templates, so listing alerts, home value alerts, market activity alerts, and then listing tools. So if you have any listings, so I know in Mass, you can reverse prospect with the MLS. New Hampshire, you cannot reverse prospect within the MLS. So if you do have a New Hampshire license and you do have Realscout, I highly recommend you come into your listings and you can claim them, and down below you can see any reverse prospecting. Now, if your listing closes or if your listing expires or your listing terminates, you will not be able to access the reverse prospecting feature after. But while it is active and active on market, you can reverse prospect within Realscout. So see how it's not allowing me to see them? It's only available for sale and in contract listings. So if you can also do this for Mass, Connecticut, Maine, Rhode Island, Florida. So you can do it for any state, even if that state's MLS has a reverse prospecting function. What I like about the Realscout one is that it breaks it down. So it'll tell you the agent, the brokerage that they're with, how many buyers they have set up in Realscout, right? This does not take into account data from MLS. This is just within the Realscout platform. It'll give you how many buyers they have within Realscout. It'll give you a number of how many buyers have looked at it. And then there's some more data, but I can't remember what else it gives you on the reverse prospecting feature. So that is nifty that it does allow you to see, okay, how many agents, are matched? How many buyers does an agent have, right? And it breaks it down from the greatest number to the least number of buyers that are matched with that agent on that search. So that is a little bit about over here. And then if you're, not sure where you should list something, or you're kind of up here on price, but your buyers are your not buyers, your sellers, excuse me. Your sellers are up here on price, but you're down here because that's what your CMA says, that's what your market report tells you. You can always test the market with the address, the type of home, the beds, the baths, and the target price. You can generate and preview a report. So you can use this when you go to listing appointments as well and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what this report says for your area, for your specific property address. This is why I'm suggesting the price that I am. So you have more marketable data as well as a CMA. So you have more leverage, if you will, because this is tested the market at a target price that they want. And it could say, hey, it could be too high, it could be too low, or it could be just right. So you can always test the market before you price a property. Any questions on anything that I just went over on the left-hand side, either how to turn on auto nurture, how to edit a filter, how to delete a client, anything like that. I am gonna go through how to add a client. So if you have any questions on that, Nikki, just hold off on those. I will get to that in just a second. Okay, so Nikki asked, what is reverse prospecting? So reverse prospecting is when you have a listing and you want to see what agents have buyers that are matched. So instead of, so let's say I have you set up as a buyer on Realscout, but you're an agent and you have a buyer set up for, say, Marlboro area. And we have Jane Doe as the listing agent for a property in Marlboro. And she can come in, she can see reverse prospecting. And if you have any buyers that are matched to that property, your name will show up in the reverse prospecting. So it's a way for agents to reach out to other agents to gauge their buyers' interest in their listing. Does that answer your question? Do you have any other questions on reverse prospecting? So it's a way for agents to connect with other agents about their listing, the nitty-gritty. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the dashboard. So the dashboard is gonna show any interaction that your clients have. So whether they view a property, how many times they've viewed a property, they can like, dislike properties. They can also like certain features and certain amenities about this property. So these clients right here of mine, they loved, the aesthetics, the style, the condition, the features, the amenities, the kitchen, the location, the neighborhood, the price, the neighborhood, the schools, the size, the view, the yard. If they disliked anything, then it would have a thumbs down and it would say what they didn't like, right? So the heart means that's all of the features that they've liked. All of the icons over here, I will go over in just a second. So all of the icons over here. So if you see an orange envelope that is open, that means that they have opened that email. If they open it more than once, it's going to say second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. If they view a property, it's going to have a blue circle with an I. If they do not like a property, it's going to be a red circle with a thumbs down. And see these clients right here, they didn't like the price and they didn't like the size. So they interacted with this listing and I can see what they didn't like about that specific property. Over here, they viewed this property 2 times. I can see that because it says it's their second time viewing it. So it's a very more interactive between the client and the agent, because in MLS, one of my biggest pet peeves as an agent in the MLS systems that are so antiquated with the searches is they can like or dislike a property. Great. Now I need to call them, email them, text them, whatever their preferred communication is, and find out what specifically about that property they didn't like or what they liked about that property. I have all of that information within Realscout with the properties that they're interacting with. They can also send you a message and they can also request a showing within Realscout. A red green circle with a thumbs up means they liked it. So let's just go to 252 Plains Road. So this is the agent side of that Realscout. So the consumer side is going to look a little differently, but I will explain the differences. So the consumers are going to have the layout just like yours. But over here on the actions, they have a button that says request showing. I can't log in because I don't have myself set up as a consumer. But on the consumer side, under the actions, it's going to say message agent, request showing. They can view all of the details that we have here. So Realscout, you're going to notice that it's much easier to read the description, anything about the property. It also gives you a map of where it is, the general features about the property information, the building information, the taxes, the assessments, expenses, utilities, all of that stuff is going to be in here in a much easier to read format than the squishy MLS line by line. It's also going to give you all of the photos. So you can see it has a couple photos up top, and then you can view all photos so you can view them this way, or you can click on one and do it as a slideshow. So there's the different ways you can see the photos. You can also send it to a client specifically if you have manual or handpicked searches. You can send it directly to a client from within Realscout without having to go from MLS to your email to get their email or etc. It's all from one screen. You can also message the listing agent, right? Or you can get her phone number. So if I had clients interested, right, and she didn't use Broker Bay, which is the equivalent of show and time up in Maine, I could do show and request the property address, and I can send the listing agent a message right from in Realscout. Now, the cool part is that she will get an email notification that she has a message in Realscout. In the Realscout app, she will get notified that she has a message. She can respond back to me, and I will get a response back via email or via text notification that I have a response back. Again, all within one platform without having to switch between multiple tabs and multiple platforms. It also gives information about nearby schools. Due to fair housing, as realtors, we should not be, there are some that talk about schools. We should not be talking about schools because we cannot violate fair housing. So this is a good tool if you have buyers who have children in a school district. I highly encourage your buyers, in that you encourage your buyers as well, to use the Realscout platform for the nearby school information. It also tells you where they got it from with a link to that website where they got it from. It also gives the listing history. You can send remarks, so you can put remarks in here. And when you send this to your client within the Realscout platform, your remarks saying this is a top property. It has all of the features that you're looking for. I think we should schedule a showing or go to the open house. Any remarks that you put that you save before you send it to your client will be sent to your client. A climate risk rating. So if you have a client who is more, say, eco-conscious, they want to know about the drought risk, the storm risk, the flood risk, risk of fire, they can click get a full report and it'll break down all of these sections in a multi-page report. I know the past couple of days there's been chatter about Zillow taking away their climate risk numbers, etc., etc. They can get a whole report from climatecheck.com just by clicking on getting a full report. When they click on get a full report, it will automatically open a new tab for them. That is how you can read the dashboard, read any properties that your clients are interested in. Any questions on any of that for anyone on the call? Okay, I don't see any questions on that section. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to how you add someone for a search. So over and this is, you can do it however you want. So you can click the contacts tab and you can add them this way. If you have a CSV file, you can import them. What I find the easiest, and this is just my personal preference, is coming up here to the add contact / alert, but you can do what works for you. So you will enter their email address at realtne.com. Ashley. I always do their first and their last name. Their phone number is optional. The source is optional. And then you can tag them as a buyer, a seller, buyer and seller, or other. Create client. Once you click the create client button, it's going to ask you what type of alert do you want to set up for that client? Do you want to set up a listing alert? Do you want to set up a market activity alert? Do you want to set up a home value alert? So once you click that initial create alert, it's going to then bring you to the box where you can decipher which alert you want to create. Now, we're going to do a listing alert because there is what they call cross MLS. So if you're an agent like me and you have a license in more than one state and you have all of your MLSs linked to your Realscout, the default is cross MLS search, which is more of a basic search. So you can't search by school district. You can't search if your client wants a waterfront. So you would have to go through and select the particular MLS. Continue. So this is where the data feed. So the cross MLS search is just the default. So if you have a client who wants to look in Massachusetts, but you have more than one MLS, you're going to have to click the drop down, and this is important. You're going to have to click the drop down and you're going to have to select that MLS that they want. Because if you leave it on cross MLS search, it's going to search all the MLSs that you have in your Realscout. And you're not going to get that more refined search that you can search by subdivisions, school district, waterfront, condo, association name, HOA. It's not going to give you that if you do the cross MLS search. So that is why I stress the importance that you need to click the drop-down menu. Now, you are going to notice for Prime MLS, if you are a New Hampshire agent, New Hampshire breaks it out. So if you have somebody who is looking for a rental in New Hampshire, you're going to have to scroll down and you're going to have to click on Prime MLS rental. If you do not click on Prime MLS rental, you're not going to be able to search rental properties. Now, Massachusetts and Maine clump it all together. New Hampshire is the only state that breaks it down by category. So we're going to do MLS, which is Massachusetts. So these are the criteria fields. So there's different ways you can search. So if you have somebody who wants to be in a specific area, so let's say we have somebody who wants to be in Carlisle, Acton, Concord, Bedford, Lincoln, Menard, that area, you can draw a circle, or a square. So if you draw a square, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your last point has to connect to your first point to close the shape that you created. If you do not connect the last point to the first point, your shape is going to be an open shape and it is not going to search the area because it is an open shape. You can also, so if you wanted to delete the shape, you could click trash. So we are going to clear that. You can also search by a radius. So if you have somebody who needs to be, say, 5 miles from the center of Southborough, right, or the center of Marlborough, you can search by radius. You can put the map here and you can scroll in even further if you have, a specific address. And let's say they need to be within 5 miles of that address, right? You can go ahead and zoom out. So as you keep zooming out, it's going to show you the radius. So right now we're at 4.2, 4.7, just over 5. So we'll go just under 5. Now, to release the mouse, to search that area, you just release the mouse, and now it's going to search this radius for the criteria that you put. So we're going to do MLS status. We're going to do active. You can do come in soon. Killed means terminated. I don't know why they use that word killed. Sold, rented, off market. Property type residential, residential lease, rental, land, commercial, business. So we're going to do residential. The property subtype, if they're looking for a single family, a condo, a condex, a mobile home, a duplex, a 2-family, a 3-family, it's all listed down here. So we will do single family. We will do a max bathroom of 2. A min bathroom, you can put them in if you want. Bedrooms, you can put them in a max if you want. So we'll do a max of 3 bedroom. A price. So for a list price, I always do a min and a max for a list price. So for a min, we'll do 500. For a max, we'll do 775. So as we go down, right? So as you can see, your results up top are going to be more significant. But as you keep going down, so right now in our radius, we have 15 results. So as you keep editing this, your results that match your search are going to go down. Do not worry about that. That is based upon the criteria that you were entering. So now we've gone from 15 to 11 results just based upon the minimum price and the maximum price we put in there, as well as the number of bedrooms and the total number of bathrooms. If you have a client that wants acreage, you could do minimum and maximum. If they want a particular architectural style, you could put that in there. If they want a newer home, say within the last, say 15 years, you could put the minimum year and the maximum year built, right? If they want a single level living, or if they want 2 stories, you could put that in here. Total number of units you could put in here. Entry level you could put in here. The body type. So the body type is referring to if you are doing a manufactured or a mobile home search, a double wide versus a single wide. That is what body type refers to. Locations. So if you didn't want to do a circle or draw your own shape, so we're going to clear our radius. So if you wanted to do Massachusetts, so you could also search by county. So we will do, if you want to search by city, we can type in the city. So we'll do Marlborough, we'll do Framingham, we'll do Northborough, we'll do, say, Southborough. Now, I will caveat, if you do a search in MLS and you come into Realscout and you do a search and you have 1 or 2 more in MLS than you do in Realscout, it could be based upon the spelling of the town. I did reach out to Realscout about that a couple years ago, and they said that it's how it is spelt versus MLS versus Realscout. So now we have 15 results for our search criteria that we have above. So as we go down and as we edit our search, it's gonna increase or decrease the number of results that we get. If you are doing a search for just one MLS, you can search by school and location boundary. If you are doing the cross MLS search, the basic search, it's not going to give you the school and location boundary. That is only if you are doing a one MLS search. Any questions so far on editing a search criteria, how to add anything? Okay, I don't see any questions on that. Okay, features. So if they want, say, what's a feature? So let's say they want a hot tub or a spa. You could click on that and then it'll give one result. So the more particular you get with your search, the less and less results you're gonna have. If they want interior features, so if they want, say they want, let's see, say they want a bonus room, you can select bonus room, or if they want a breakfast bar or a nook, you can select that. Senior communities, waterfront, accessibility features. So there's all these features that you can go through. There's many different features, and unfortunately, this calls an hour. I don't have time to go through all of them. Now, there is amenities for horses. So if you have somebody that wants a paddock, you can select that as well. You can also select list and contract date, close date, availability date, available now. That's more for rentals. And then you can have the option if you want to have only those matches with open houses this weekend, only homes with open houses or only homes with photos. You can check those boxes. You can also add and remove search options. So if you want to add a search feature that you don't see here, just click on the add/remove search option. You can type it here or you can search in the scroll down and then click done once you are done. Once you have the criteria all filled out, you're going to go ahead and click Save Search Template, and you're going to click Save to Client. You're going to select the client. So we're going to pick myself. You can name the search. So we'll do Ashley Central, South Central, South Central MA. The alert schedule. So Realscout has different alert times. So handpick means you would have to come in here every morning or every afternoon, see what's newly matched to that client, and then send them to that client if you think they would like it or not. Daily means either in the AM or the PM. ASAP means as soon as it's listed, as soon as it's on Realscout, it will email that client. Monthly is just once a month, and disabled means they won't get any matches. I have mine always selected to ASAP, and then I have send a copy to myself. So if you're on the road all day and you know you're not going to be able to be searching MLS, by checking the box that says send copy to myself, you're gonna get an email anytime your clients get an email of a listing that they were matched to. So it'll give you the description. It'll give you all of the information just in a more summarized fashion in an email. So you'll get the price, you'll get the description, you'll get the photos, you'll get all of that in the email, just in a more condensed version. And then you can open it in Realscout when you're back to your computer or on the mobile app. You can view it there. So we're going to click Create Search. Once we click Create Search, it's going to ask us, do we want to send the alert now with all unsent listings or do not send? As I mentioned earlier, if you click the do not send, then you will just have to go through and check the boxes of the searches. So let's say I know for a fact Ashley's going to like 86 Whitney. I'll check the box and I'll click send. And then I can write her an email if I wanted to. As everything you are looking for. Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you, Ashley. And then you can click send now. that one property was sent to Ashley, so we can click OK. And then let's say we know she's not going to like this one. We can go ahead and we can click delete. It'll move it from the queue to the trash. But if we want to add it back to the queue, we can just click the checkbox and we can send it, and then it'll send. And then it'll send that property. So now if we go to the sent section, we're going to see that we've sent Ashley 2 properties. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to my email for a minute. So I need to just double check. So I need to stop sharing my screen for a minute because I will show you. So on the email, when you have your email set up to a search, I'm just refreshing my page. It's gonna give you Realscout, so it's gonna be from Realscout, and it's gonna say one listing that match search Ashley South Central Mass, right? And then if you scroll down, it's gonna give you the house, the details, and then if you click on view details, it's gonna open it where you can see all of the details in a more easy to read format. So now that I have Ashley set up on the search, anytime she gets an email from Realscout, I'm going to get that same email. So let's say Ashley has liked this property. I want to see if I can do it. It's not going to let me because I'm not logged in. So now if I go back to Realscout, stop share my Realscout screen. I need to make sure I share the correct one. Share. So now if I go back to my dashboard and I refresh my dashboard. Oh, because I did it as the agent side, not as that side. So if Ashley were to log into this email, and if she were to interact with any of the properties, excuse me, it'll show that she's viewed them, that she's liked them, if she's gone back a second time and liked them. So that's how you can read the live feed. That's how you can interact. Any questions on that section of it? Okay, I don't see any questions on that. Now, up here, what do you want to do? So you can learn more about markets, enhance your listing presentations, engage clients with email alerts. You can also market your Realscout platform. So Realscout has 2 unique links to each agent. These are unique to each agent. So for Nikki, hers would be her name, Nicole Stewart, or nikkistewart.realscout.com for the client search page. So this one, it's going to allow you to engage prospective buyers and generate new leads. Could you take this link, generate a QR code for mailers, for emails, social media posts? You most certainly can. And you can use a QR code. Now, if you wanted to gather information about a prospect and invite them to create a search themselves, you would use the onboarding link. So there's 2 unique links. One is yourname.realscout.com/. The second link is yourname.realscout.com/onboarding. So there's 2 different unique links that you can use. If you wanted to use both links in, say, a mail-in, you could. You would just have to put both QR codes, right? You would have to do, I need to backtrack. You would have to create 2 QR codes for each link and then put the 2 QR codes on your mailer, on your email, and then just differentiate which QR code is which, right? So you have the client search page and then you have the onboarding link. So if you're sending a mailer to clients, you would want to use the client search page. But if you're sending a mailer to, say, a community that you're farming, you would want to use the onboarding link versus the client search page. So that is how you can market your Realscout platform. And again, both of those links are unique to the agent and only the agent. So if you were to use one of those links and say a client clicked on it and registered, they would come show up in your contacts and no one else could see them. Only that agent with that specified link could see them. Any recent client conversations that you have, you can see over here on the right-hand side. Any recent notifications are also going to appear on the right-hand side. Over on the top, you're going to have a messages section as well. So anytime you've gotten any messages from any client, any agent, if they request a showing, it'll say requested a showing, that they've sent one listing. So there's different ways you can get your messages. Any questions on anything within Realscout that I've gone over, that maybe I haven't gone over, that you wanted me to go over? When we add our client in the contacts, will they get sent a link? So on the bottom of the email that they get, it'll say that they can download the app for either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, and then they'll just have to go to the App Store for their respective phone system that they have and download the app. They don't get a link to the app per se. It's a link to the system itself, but not the app. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions, Nikki? Okay. Okay, great. If you have any other questions, you can always email Happy Agent, or what you can do is you can go to layerrealty.com/briefings and you can schedule a 30-minute call. And when you're filling out the form, it'll ask you what you want to go over in the call. So I think there's one for Canva, I think there's one for Zaro, Realscout, Fellow. There's all different briefings that we have, so you could always do it that way as well. If there's no other questions, that does it for me for today. I hope everyone has a nice holiday season and a nice new year. You're welcome. And everyone stays safe, stays healthy, and stays warm, especially if you're in New England. If you're in Florida, I hope you guys stay warm. Bye, everyone.